I'll avoid the cliche stuff. Do what you enjoy doing. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, then that's all that really matters. If something happens with it, that's okay. If something doesn't happen with it, guess what? That's okay too. The fact is, you're doing something you enjoy doing, and hopefully you're getting the enjoyment out of it. If you're doing something like drum covers, just as an example, if that starts feeling like a job, take a break, because you are going to. And I struggled with this last year. You're going to resent it, having to feel like you have to do this thing every week. Just take a month off, reset, and come back at it. The big trick is always enjoy yourself. Now, for anybody that's watched any of my videos, I look miserable as shit when I'm playing. And that's not because I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, it's just because I was born with resting bitch face. So even though I'm sitting looking grumpy, I'm actually enjoying it. Because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be doing it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Imagine That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. And join me today, hailing from Scotland, Gareth Gaz Graham. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. And it's actually been a while because how many collaborations have you been a part of with Ash Wells?
Ash, probably 3, I think.
I was thinking, which one was it? I think it was another one, Bites the Dust. I think that was the first time I actually saw you.
That was the first one, I think. The most recent one was that Whitesnake, whatever the hell the name of that thing was.
Yeah, actually I wasn't part of that one, so he keeps himself busy. I'll give him that too. So
that's for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So welcome to my podcast here, Gaz. We got some questions here for you so we can get to know a little bit more about your story. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So I'll start with the first one. Who is Gaz Graham and how did he get into drumming?
Oh, Jesus. Got into drumming probably, I was 10 or 11, I think. And I think at the time I was just looking for a way to annoy my parents. And being originally Scottish, you had really a choice of 2 ways to go. You could either play bagpipes or be a drummer. And for playing bagpipes, that's just an excuse to blow pipes and squeeze sacks. And that didn't really appeal to me at all. So I went for the drums instead. Went out, I think my first kit was a little oyster patterned Ludwig. It's a 4-piece. And it was one of those, it had the little cymbal stand. Right cymbal stand was in the bass drum. So where you have a tom mount normally, it had a little ride cymbal thing. And we stuck that up the attic. And annoyed the shit out of them for years and the neighbour next door. Never did any formal lessons. Haven't had any of that sort of stuff. So everything's just been self-taught, basically watching. Well, back then it wasn't YouTube videos, it was VHS or Betamax or some stupid ass cassette tape that you would sit and listen to and read the book and play along at the same time. Did that in the 90s, got into a few bands, started doing the live stuff, out playing shows, all of that good stuff. Had a break for about 10 years. That's a story for later on if we cover that one. Moved over to the States, and then from there I hadn't actually played live since moving to the States. So moved over to the States probably, I think it was 2004, and then had a couple of years without a kit, then bought a kit, threw it in the basement and just played from there. And then I think I started the YouTube channel, or what was the YouTube channel, back in 2015. Didn't upload anything, it was just so I could sit and comment on other people. So I could be that keyboard warrior asshole that everybody hates. And then 2019, I think, was the first cover I actually put out on the channel. And that was on an Elisa's Strike. Yeah, Elisa's Strike.
Sorry about you still going there. Let's give myself mute too, because still kind of dealing with COVID too, so might be coughing every now and again, so I don't want to cough into your ears, that's for sure.
As long as you're on the other side of the mic, I'm good.
No, I thought you were still going there, but I guess I forgot to ask, where were you hailing from right now? Did you move back to Scotland, or are you still in the States?
No, I'm actually down in Texas now.
Oh, all right. We're in
So
Texas.
moved over to the States 2004, went to Salt Lake, and then 2 years back moved into Austin.
Ah, I see. How's it down there
For,
right now?
for I think it's about 70 some odd degrees right now.
It's still warm in Texas, that's for sure.
Oh yes, that's for damn sure. I was laughing at the family up in Salt Lake. They were sitting about 32 this morning. And we were sitting cruising about 70, somewhere 72, 76.
It's the same way in Florida too, but they got more of the humidity kind of weather. Yours, I guess, is more dry heat. So that's the thing I noticed
Oh,
when going out west.
hell no. There's no goddamn dry heat down here.
No?
No, hell no. You walk outside, you've almost walked through a shower.
Oh, really?
It's gross.
Okay, I stand corrected. I was in Arizona recently. That was mostly dry heat too.
Now that
So
one, that's dry heat. So Arizona, Vegas, or Nevada, Utah, that's all sort of dry heat. Come further down south, there's no such thing as a dry heat.
I see. Okay, well, I stand happily corrected. That's for sure. And also, so much for being a good boy too. We already, I think I counted 5 times. We already got him cussing like a sailor right now. So
Yeah,
no, you're good. You're
doesn't
good.
take much.
It's a First Amendment right. Well, the kids won't watch us too. We'll say, Kyle Castro, cover your ears, that sort of thing. So,
Yeah, exactly.
all right. So I'm assuming that's your kit behind you. So can you walk us through your kit?
Yeah. Let me see if I can turn this damn filter off.
I had to
Okay,
say, you
never
actually
mind.
fooled me with a Scottish accent, so that's why I assumed you were still in Scotland. So,
No, no. I haven't managed to get rid of it. Anytime I think about getting rid of it, I end up calling back home and talking to my folks. And that just brings the accent back again.
yeah,
Used to be really good for the women at the bar when I was single.
not so much anymore.
Not so much, well, it's still good, but the outcome's not as good. So, kit behind me, which you can't see because I've got it all blurred out, but you've seen it in videos before. So, it's a PDP concept maple, 7-piece. So, you got 8, 10, 12, 14 and 16 on the toms, 22 kick drum. Snare drum I'm using right now is the pot pie 13x7 brass. Really like the crack off of that one. And then, of course, I've got my special Eric Henniger Attic Custom drum snare in the background there. All the cymbals, Saluda. I just recently replaced those. What was that, about a month ago? So I've been digging those. Mic wise, on overheads, which I don't really use as overheads, I'm using them as cymbal mics more than anything else. That's a set of Lewitts. And then I have a Lewitt Rex 640 in the kick drum. Standard 57 on the snare with a Shure PGA 98 on the bottom. All of the toms are Shure PGA 98s. That's all going through on my other side, Scarlett 18i20 and an Octoprise for 16 inputs, which is rolling through my Mac Mini, which is then rolling through, I use Logic Pro, and then I use Filmora Wondershare for doing the video editing.
I see. Oh, you're a Logic Pro user too. I roll that too. Yeah, it's actually pretty sweet.
I kind of flip between Logic and Reaper. And I find Logic's a little bit more intuitive after having used it for so long. I recently checked out Studio One, the latest version of that. Can't say I liked it much. And I think the biggest detractor on that one for me was the fact that it doesn't do click detection. Within Reaper, within Logic, you've got Smart Tempo, and that will set the click up for you based on the song. You can't do that inside the Studio One. You have to use Melodyne or some other third party to get that plugged in. Looking through the comments on that one, and all these people, it's like, oh, you must be stupid. You just sit and click the tempo button. Well, that's great. What if the tempo changes? Am I supposed to sit there and just tick through the entire song going click, 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 oh, faster, click, 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 click? No, the hell with that. I can do that in Logic, and it's just a click of a button. Analyze that, tell me what it is. So, yeah, generally now I just use Logic.
Yeah, I can see what you mean too. That would get annoying. I guess, what sort of songs do you play? Do you mostly stick with like rock, classic rock, or do you kind of vary a little bit?
Anything I feel like. If I hear a song that I like, I just go ahead and do it. Except if it's like hip hop. That's one I can't quite get into. And contrary to what some of my friends think, I have done country every now and again. But usually that involves a lot of either alcohol or a bet beforehand.
Yeah, we take a nice swig of whiskey before jumping on the country music scene. That's for sure.
God, yes.
I was just thinking playing like either Keith Urban or Toby Keith, those kind of ones.
Who's she?
Uh, well, not she, but you know,
Yeah,
no,
I
we're
know.
not going to go with pronouns now. That's for sure. But
So just for knowledge, I identify as either cabbage or lettuce.
identify as a basketball.
That's my pronouns.
Okay. Oh God,
I don't get into that dumb shit.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I try to stay clear of it too, but apparently it's an issue these days. So
Yeah, I guess so. But whatever floats your boat.
we need something to feed the news media
Oh yeah,
frenzy. That's for sure. So,
for sure.
but whatever at this point. But what kind of sticks do you play with?
Vata 5Bs, either nylon or the acorn shaped wood tips.
Is that the one you've always been rolling with, or have you kind of jumped around a little bit?
Actually, no, I've stuck with that for probably 20 some odd years now. I, d- I have flipped between the weights, so I either go 5A or 5B. My preference is the 5B,
Hmm.
depending where I am. The lighter weight actually works better in this room I'm in because it's a bedroom. You know what I mean? It's the bedroom in my house.
Oh, it's not the man cave.
Oh, well, it is, but it's a bedroom, really.
Hmm.
So what I find is the heavier stick, when I'm really laying into that, it kind of overpowers the space.
Hmm.
And I spend more time EQing and mixing that to try and get it to sound decent. Because
Oh, I see.
I have no self control.
I see.
I get into a song and I just go.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say the wife threw you down in the basement for being a bad boy, that sort of thing.
Oh
Or
Christ, no, she's in the bedroom right across the hall.
oh, is she? Okay.
She's used to it by this time.
Okay. Actually, I didn't know. Is it like a two-story or is it like a just simple one-story kind of house?
No, it's a two.
Oh, okay. So, I guess what do you love most about drumming?
The constant frustration about trying to get an EQ'd sound that sounds good before you release a cover.
Hmm. Well, there's that. There's always that kind of stress
Oh,
too. But
Jesus. You know, it's kind of funny because back 90s, the thing I enjoyed most was probably just getting out and playing. We were doing open air festivals, clubs, pubs, that sort of thing, and we would do that every weekend, and that was great. Then once I stopped doing that, I think the thing I enjoy more about it is it's the stuff like the collaborations, where we all get together and we do stuff. One of my favourite collaborations recently was the one Eric put together for the Suicide Awareness Month. That was a really good one to be involved in because it's a good cause. And it felt, you take a bit of pride in doing that sort of stuff. And then, of course, you make all the new friends that you never knew before, which is one of the big advantages of the technology we have now. Because the band I used to play with back home, we still play and we still record stuff, and they're 6,000 miles away from me. So they record their part, I do my part, I sit and mix it all, and then we go back and forth. That's the sort of the good thing that the technology allows us to do these days. And of course, there's you and I talking.
there's that too. And actually, the best part about this is it's free to talk with each other now. That's the beauty of it too.
Yeah.
And something I mentioned with when I interviewed Mike Few a while back, and he's made like, yeah, I totally agree. It's that
Yeah.
sort of thing too.
You don't have to have an international calling plan on your phone.
There's that too, or paying some sort of international fee just for going
Yeah.
overseas and everything else like that. But I guess you mentioned about a couple of bands you've been a part of. I guess can you talk about those?
Ooh, that might cost you. Yeah, okay.
I got time.
So, the main band I played with back home, I joined them 92. It's about 92 or 93. Jesus, I'm old. It's a band called Psycho Babe. And this is Cameron Samantha is the guitarist and the singer. And we meet up every year in Vegas. At least we did until COVID hit. And then they couldn't get in from the UK. They still live in Scotland. So they used to fly over during the summer and we'd meet up at least once a year in Vegas. And we'd get a rehearsal studio and stuff while we're down there. Not the normal Vegas stuff like going to the shows. We did some of that the first couple of years, and then that got old really fast. So we then got into some of the rehearsal spaces and things down there, and we set up a secondary band that was just us. And we did the recording backwards and forth there, and then bits and pieces. But back then, we could have almost made it back then. And I know people say this all the time, but back 94, 95, we were popular enough that the band Texas, who were actually a Scottish band, their A&R guys had heard about us because we were doing all of the local scenes, all of the bigger venues, some of the, as I said before, some of the open air festivals. And they had decided to turn up to one of our shows one night. And we'd heard about it, so we were all hyped. It's like, okay, this maybe work, because up until that point, we'd been doing it just for the sake of playing music, because there was no money in it for your local band. Nobody was paying your local band to come and play at the club. In some instances, we had to pay. It's like, here's a batch of tickets, go sell that. You sell that, anything we make after that is yours. Well, that's brilliant. So anyway, we turn up to this gig. We get loaded in, set up, get a sound check done, and then all of a sudden it dawns on us, the bass player's missing. And Cameron, Samantha, if you're watching this, I know you don't like talking about this one, but it's me, so I don't give a shit. The bass player isn't at the venue. So we start making phone calls, which back in the 90s, your cell phone was the size of a goddamn A4 binder, and it had the range of about 200 feet. So anyway, we're trying to get hold of this guy, and his phone's just completely dead. Long story short, he had apparently had a nervous breakdown and couldn't handle the pressure. So he just didn't show up to the show. And we found that out about 2 weeks later, after he finally decided to get back in contact with somebody. Of course, it wasn't me, because I wanted to kick the shit at him. But, so yeah, he had his nervous breakdown. So there's the three of us there in this packed pub with these A&R people trying to pull off a show. Cameron's got the electric guitar. I've got a full acoustic drum set with just sticks, no brushes, none of that crap. It was supposed to be a rock show. And we're trying to pull this off with just an electric guitar, the drums, and a singer. Needless to say, it sounded not the best we've ever sounded, because we just couldn't pull it off. And after that, I guess we kind of took a hiatus, because that really kicked us in the teeth. So yeah, that was probably the biggest highlight of my drumming career, as far as that goes. I mean, you get other stories, like in one of the other pubs we used to play, same band, Samantha had decided one night in a show to get up on top of a table. And she's singing and dancing as she does. She walks up on tables, she walks up on bar counters and runs up and down and all sorts of stuff. So we're sitting playing, laughing like hell, watching her. And this one night, she picked a table, and Cameron and I started watching each other, because we were watching Samantha jump up and down on this table. And I don't know if she had noticed the big-ass ceiling fan right above her head.
Oh, jeez.
And of course, she jumps up, and I guarantee she was half an inch away from this ceiling fan. And I think it just clipped the back of her hair, and she kind of felt it going. And then she's still singing. Faces went drained white, but she's still singing and getting on with it. And it's like, holy shit. Yeah, that's good.
Nothing like trying to end your career, just like trying to hit your head off a ceiling fan, that sort of thing.
There's nothing like making a gig memorable than decapitation.
Oh, God. Yeah, you Scots love to party. I'll give you that much.
No, not at all. That's a dirty rumour.
I see. I was going to say, you probably fit in with the Scottish punk band, The Exploited. Have you ever heard of them? They're an interesting group. Actually. Interesting group. Kind of, they talk about anarchy and stuff like that sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
But one of the songs was USA, but obviously he was talking trash on the USA too, so it was like, fuck the USA, fuck the USA.
Oh my God.
Actually, I didn't really care for it much, but actually, when I heard that song, it was actually a band covering it. I forget who it was. The name kind of escapes me too, but I was thinking like, This guy could probably fit in as their drummer too. That'd be pretty awesome too.
Maybe at one point, not anymore.
No, they're out there in the years
I'm too old and lazy for that stuff these days.
Oh, really? Well, I guess when you came to the States, what'd you do when you came to the States? Did you get into another group or anything, or did you just kind of...
I actually didn't. I just... I was going to say I actually just sat in the basement and played with myself, but that doesn't sound right.
Oh, God.
See?
That's wrong on so many levels here, man. Kyle, cover your ears.
Yes, don't listen to this bit, Kyle. Honestly, we're nice guys.
This is X-rated right now. We're X-rated, baby.
Now, so a couple of years after getting here, I bought a drum kit and I just kept playing in the basement. Just set of headphones, going at it. And that was really all I did until that was probably 2006 all the way through to about 2019 when I did the first of the YouTube things.
I see.
I could never find the time once I got here to get back out and play with a band again. Because obviously when I first get here, you can't just go straight to work. You have to spend the time waiting to get your social security number, all of that good stuff that actually allows you to go and get a job. So for if you're immigrating to the States, you have to provide yourself or show that you have funds to support yourself for X amount of time because they know how long it takes to get this visa. Oh, not the visa, sorry, the social security card. So spare money wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
So by the time that all played out, it was a couple of years before I picked up my first kit after moving here.
I see, yeah. I don't know how the immigration process works because I actually have a cousin who came out of Mexico too, and he had to go through the long process of getting. I'm assuming a green card is the first thing, and then eventually they give you U.S. citizenship, or I guess.
No, so for me, I had to go back to Scotland, go through an interview process at the London Embassy. You have to get blood tests and all sorts of things to make sure you're not bringing in some rare and tropical disease that doesn't exist in America in the first place. You've got to go through criminal background check. The hell else do we have to do? Then, of course, the funding. Make sure you have the money to be able to support yourself once you get here, because once you get here, if you come in on that visa, you're not entitled to any subsidy or handout or any of that sort of thing. So you have to fund yourself for the first while. And then that gets you your visa. You can come in. Of course, it was easier back then, more than it is now, because of everything that's changed over the past 17 years since I moved here. Then if you want to take your citizenship, you apply for that and pay more money, because everything costs money. And then you have to go do the citizenship test. I actually did mine through the military because I enlisted in the Army, National Guard, back in 2009. So I took my citizenship through that. So it didn't actually cost me anything, but I still had to follow the same process as everybody else by sitting the test and doing the interview.
I see. I was actually thinking they had to make you do a urine sample too, that sort of thing.
Hell, there might have been something like that. That was a while ago. I don't remember.
Just picture him trying to get in the urinal stall and be like, "Come out here, you little fucking shit," that sort of thing. So, it feels weird, but not want to get into that too, because that's probably a whole weird story to get into. But regardless, I guess walk us through when you do a drum cover. After you pick the song, what do you do, and what sort of gear do you use to make it work before you upload it to YouTube?
Okay, I have absolutely no process in picking a song whatsoever. I will, I'll listen to Spotify. I have Sirius XM. I'll spend a lot of time looking through the dark, dank dungeons in YouTube to find things to play. And I'll just play something I hear that I like. So if I hear it and I like it, and it's something that I feel like covering, I'll bring it back. I'll upload it into Logic and export that WAV file, and I'll throw it into RipX. So I use RipX Deep Mix to actually create stems of that. Create the stems, throw that back into Logic, and then put the drum, the template for my kit into Logic on top of that, and then just go for it. Generally, 90 99% of everything on my channel is just a single take playthrough. Yes, I've played it a couple times beforehand, but when I actually go to do the cover, it's just once through. So mistakes and all.
Mistakes happen, and then like we just leave them in.
I just leave them in. Yeah, and it says in my about section in there, it's like, I'm not one of these super drummers. I'm just doing something I enjoy. So yeah, I could spend hours and hours and hours trying to perfect that stuff, do drop-ins, all of that sort of stuff. It's just like, no, that's not what I'm about. If I was doing it professionally, making money off it, whatever, then yeah, great. But where it's a hobby for me these days, so it's just, there you go, that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't pay much for copyright music too, because Jeff Jansen, the guy who's actually from Arizona, that's why I was referencing Arizona earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He actually put on his Facebook page, like he only made like 40 cents just from like all the videos he's been putting up and everything. And he's just been strictly like drum covers, that sort of thing too. And he's an exceptional drummer too. So you can see too, even you don't make much just with copyrighted music too. So.
Oh yeah. Well, according to Social Blade, I made $44 last year.
Oh really?
I don't know where the hell it went. I don't remember even seeing it, but apparently it's there.
Just got to withdraw it. That sort of thing.
Like, yeah, there must be a special bank for that.
I guess, or something that YouTube has. That's pretty sweet too. And I used to suffer from perfectionism so bad back then too. But after doing these couple of interviews, like kind of mentioning it too, it's kind of helped me be like, okay, if I make a mistake, it's just there. I realized I made a mistake. So,
so in my case, there are mistakes in there, and unless you were a drummer or somebody who was deeply into music, you probably wouldn't notice. If it's something glaringly obvious, then I'll stop and redo it. Again, it's still start to finish, it's one take. But let's say it happens quite regularly. I drop a stick, or stick flies out of my hand and goes into the wall or some nonsense. Then, of course, I'm going to stop and I'll restart it, and I'll do it from the beginning, start to finish.
Yeah, I'd be the same way too. But yeah, if it's just like, okay, I accidentally hit the crash cymbal when it should have just been hitting with a hi-hat, then be like, okay, that was just a simple mistake. Because I was in the mood. I was in the zone. Man.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It's like, yeah, good enough.
Danger zone.
Danger zone.
The Archer scene, I guess. Have you watched Archer? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have not watched it recently, so I kind of feel bad. But I know that was a big reference point he always made in the...
I haven't watched them since the dream sequence Archer, where he was in his coma.
Okay.
That entire series, that kind of put me off a bit, and I haven't really went back to it since then.
I see. All right. I think it was my uncle who got me into it at first, but I think I only watched like 2 seasons, and then after that I kind of dropped off. I kind of want to get back into it just to kind of pass the time too, because weather's actually been shitty last year, a couple of days here. So
yeah, I may try and pick up the latest series and see what that looks like, because I guess they just did one.
They did something, yeah. It was probably another season, or I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure where they're going. It's like they kind of lost their business or whatever corporation they were using, and now it's like I don't know where they're at right now. It just seems like they're still going. So we'll have to see. We'll get to that point eventually. Have you ever played on an electric drum kit before?
Yes, many. So way back in the beginning, the first cover I did was on an Alesis Strike. I then got rid of I didn't get rid of the Strike, I kept the Strike, and then I bought a Mapex Mars crossover acoustic set, which I then did an ATE conversion on. So full-size kit, triggers inside. I then took that kit and turned it back into an acoustic set, and I'm just looking at my videos here to see the progression, because it's all in the videos. I'm trying to figure out which way I did this. Went to the acoustic, stayed there for a while. After I moved into Texas, I bought a Strike Pro SE, the one with the real size kick drum. Played that for a bit, then brought the Mars back out and put the triggers back into that. Then bought the house I'm in now, and then flipped onto this PDP. So yeah, I've played a couple of acoustic sets.
I see.
Mostly Alesis, because I'm a cheapskate and I can't afford Roland.
Is it Elisa's the cheapest? Because I was trying to remember if there was like any other ones, but I think the only two that come to mind is like Roland and Elisa's, because that seems to be what everybody goes for.
I mean, you have obviously you have cheaper. You have Simmons. Some of their stuff's relatively inexpensive. Cat Percussion does a couple of kits. There's a really really cheap one that I can't remember the name. But as far as decent cheap kits go, I went with the Elisa's.
I was trying to think because I've actually been rolling the Roland for a good while too. So, have you ever thought maybe just like merging two together, like an acoustic set and electric set? Maybe use the electric set as like maybe percussion stuff like that. Maybe get the real hard stuff like Neil Peart.
Yeah, I'd never be that good, so it's never crossed my mind. Yeah, I have done it before. I used to have a little side snare set up that was triggered just for a different sound, or I've used a bar trigger on my acoustic kit if I didn't happen to have a cowbell handy. I would just fire that up on the hoop of the kick and just use that as the cowbell.
Oh god, a cowbell. I'm picturing the SNL skit right now. Little Will Ferrell kind of thing too. Yeah. Just gets up and starts dancing, shaking that tush and everything too. So I can see what you're saying. Oh god, that thing is still one of the most hilarious SNL skits I've ever seen. So outside of the one they did, it was a remake of like a Amazon. You know how Alexa is. I forget what the name they gave it now, but it was meant for like old people. So
okay,
old people tend to like say like he's what now, that sort of thing. So you have to check it out. I can't really remember the whole thing, but it's it's meant for like old people. It's just meant like to be like people just like nod their heads like whenever.
So wait a minute. Are you bringing this up because you're saying I'm old?
Oh no. I'm just.
Oh, you're saying it's for old people, and yet you're talking to me.
I mean, you got the goatee there going and everything too. I mean, I'm seeing some gray hair, man.
Jesus, some gray hair.
I mean, you even said, "Jesus, I'm old" earlier.
There's more color. There's more gray than color these days.
Yeah, actually, Mike Lewis had said something similar, and I forget what he was talking about too. But then just out of nowhere, he goes stares like this, he's like, "Jesus, I'm old." That's what I think. And actually, he literally reminded me of it too. So I mean, you had a mission of it too. So I don't want you pointing fingers at me.
Okay.
Come on.
I'll let you off.
All right. So let's see, which one are we at? Talking about your YouTube channel, is there something you hope to achieve with it, or are you just kind of rolling with what you got?
I just rolling with what I got. I never had anything big planned for it. I never had intended to. So when YouTube first came out, obviously nobody was making a career out of this stuff because it was, let's face it, back then it was stupid, crappy 5-10 minute videos on going to the zoo or look at this great ice cream cone I just bought from this place, that kind of stuff, And then, of course, these days now, you can make multi-million-dollar careers out of that. And that's great. I subscribe to some of those channels. I watch a lot of those channels because they're entertaining. For me, it's just, I guess it's just an avenue for me to do something. And hopefully, and again, as it's in my about section in the channel, I don't profess to be this outstanding, brilliant drummer. I'm just a guy doing his hobby. And if that's enough, if somebody watches it to inspire somebody else to do the same thing, then I'm good with that. That's really what it's all about for me. It's like music, as I said earlier, for me, it's never been about money or making money or any of that sort of stuff. It's something I enjoy doing. So if I can help to inspire somebody else to do the same thing, and they're comfortable enough to get out and do it, because I put shit up there with mistakes in it, so it doesn't have to be perfect to go out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Music brings us together, that sort of thing too, and
yeah.
As I say, why I started this podcast too, and just try to get people's other stories and get to know them and what sort of struggles they're going through and where they're trying to go from here, because some of you guys have a good amount of subscriber counts, and I'm curious, like, when you hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, what's it going to be like? Are you going to try something new? And maybe if you ever reach that point, but...
So, yeah, it's funny because I have been looking at that recently, because I've been sitting around about the 325 number for probably the best part of a year now. And I don't seem to be able to kick off of that. So I started looking at other things I could do. And then as I was doing some research through YouTube, it's like, well, shit, he does that already. He does that already. That's already been done. And it was, I think these days I'm struggling to come up with something different that nobody else has done or hasn't done it first and does it better. The big thing for me is I don't want to start doing something and somebody else has already done it, but 90 times better than I can do it. I guess that's where that sort of OCD perfectionist actually does come out in me.
Mm.
I don't want to do something that makes me intentionally look stupid because I can do a good enough job of that on my own without trying to force it.
I mean, he gave a humble opinion too, but I was thinking, can you do a talk show too? I mean, he could do a talk show with that Scottish accent of his too.
That would be okay, except I would have to subtitle the damn thing.
That's true, yeah. People tend to struggle with
and I really don't want to sit here and type out everything I say.
Yeah, I know what you mean too. And actually, I forget how Cremo Music did it, because I forget what he did, but he put the subtitles in the little podcast interview I did with him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he just copy and pasted or whether he listened to the whole thing through or had some sort of application just like decipher it for him. So I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I do have to ask, where in Scotland do you go? And I guess go back home, I should say.
It's a little town just slightly south of Glasgow on the west coast of Scotland. That's home. Haven't seen it since 2010.
Oh, really?
That's home.
Jeez, oh, all right, 12 years already.
Yep.
That's a long way.
That was my last time back. It got prohibitively expensive to fly back. One of the last times I checked it, we were looking at $1,300 a ticket.
Oh, jeez.
And there's 4 of us, and that's just for the flight.
That's just for a flight, just to go.
No hotels, no car, no rent, nothing. That's just the flight to go and come back.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, nope, screw that. I have Skype, I have WhatsApp, I have Zoom. That'll do just fine.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to ask, did you know Kieran Wallace or Ryan Thompson by any chance?
No.
They're both Scots too, and I've actually interviewed both of them recently.
Oh, okay.
Really nice guys. They're good friends, and they've actually done their own music together. And Ryan's a little bit of a quiet one. He not much of a conversationalist, but I know Kieran, he struggles a little bit too because I forget what condition he said he has, but when you watch his covers, it looks like he's kind of moving. Yeah, I've seen those. Okay.
Yeah, Kieran I came across recently actually. And I can't remember how that happened. And then obviously I subbed his channel. And it's funny because I heard him talking, and he had finished his cover, and he started talking, but the volume level suddenly dropped during his talking part. And I happened to be walking past the television, and I was like, wait a minute, what the hell is that? Turn that shit up. And of course, the wife turns the volume up, and it's like, shit, he's Scottish. Where's that subscribe button?
Subscribe to a fellow Scots channel.
Yeah, as I say, I found him probably in the past month or so.
I see. And this is another question I have to ask, because I used to watch a show called Shetland. First off, have you seen that yet or no?
Show called?
Shetland.
Shetland?
Yeah. S-H-E-T-L-A-N.
Okay, S-H-E-T. I heard S-H-I-T.
No, not that
what
one.
the hell kind of shows are you watching, man?
No.
No, I haven't heard of that one either.
It was actually a crime drama, and
okay.
It's taking place on these archipelago islands up in like northern Scotland too. So I was always curious whenever I interview people who have like a Scottish accent or some sort of Scottish descent. I'm curious, like if they heard that show or whether they've been to Shetland.
Oh, okay. No. Oh, I've been to Shetland. I don't know the show.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry if it came out wrong too, but
no, you're fine. I'm just giving you shit.
You know what I mean too, but that's what happens too. It's like just a one vowel difference, and like it could easily be changed to like something else. So
yeah,
I don't know. People get strange at times.
Just to dispel a common myth, yes, I'm from Scotland. I am Scottish. No, I never met William Wallace.
Oh yeah, the guy of the Scottish independence, that whole deal.
That one Australian guy that had his face painted blue for that one movie. Yeah,
Mel Gibson.
Never met him.
Yeah, and actually, I kind of read into that interesting war of Scottish independence too. So I can see why you guys don't like the Brits too much too.
I don't have to worry about it anymore.
I guess were you happy when you say Lizzie's in a box, that sort of thing too? Because I know
I saw some of that nonsense. It's like, for God's sake, really?
we need a cure for stupid people, like what your shirt says. So, does it give a cure on it?
No, it's just two kids with test tubes.
All right, I tried that sort of thing too. So, I guess here, let's get into some fun questions right here. So, let's start with your favorite alcoholic drink. You look like one I probably had a good number back in the day.
If you ever go with more insults, Jesus. Rum and Coke.
Captain Coke?
It's either Captain or Kraken.
Ah, good choices, man. I go for those two at times. In fact, when I was actually down in Nashville, it was either Angry Orchard or Captain and Coke. It was either one of those two, too. I can't tell you how many times I drank those.
I used to be more into beer. And then I stopped that because you start drinking beer, all of a sudden you're full. And you've only had a couple, and it's like, God damn it, no, this isn't good. Just give me the hard alcohol. The hell with this shit. What am I wasting my money on?
Yeah, sometimes the beer, just drinking 3 cans isn't enough to get you into that nice little buzz state.
Yeah. So after a few rum and cokes, I'll hit a Jaeger bomb.
I see. Have you ever tried Jägermeister?
Yes.
I think I tried like a shot of that straight the one time. It was strong stuff.
Yeah, I'll do it straight, or I'll do it in Red Bull. That way you can that way you can get drunk and stay up all night.
Oh jeez, I just picture him too. He's just jumping off the wall. He's like a Mexican jumping bean, that sort of thing.
I'd be a Scottish jumping bean, but yeah, I could see that.
True, fair enough. All right, and favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Oh shit.
Gatorade.
Zero. Has to be zero.
What's it zero of? Is it 0 calories or is it just like a 0 sugar?
It's 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 flavor.
And somehow still good. I don't know. Every time it's 0, it doesn't really seem to appeal to me.
It really didn't to me either, but some health conditions came up, like diabetes, where I have to lower my sugar intake. So that's one of the things I had to cut back on. Although with my rum, I cannot do diet sugar-free Coke.
Oh no,
that's the one exception I will make.
Ruins the flavor, I guess.
Yeah. Oh god, it's awful.
Have you been okay? I guess have you made some progress?
It's getting better.
That's good.
It's kind of over the last year, I haven't really been as active as I was before, and the whole drumming thing, and that's really due to a lack of energy and just lack of drive. And I finally went to the doctor to get it checked out, and it turns out that's what it was. So, like an idiot man, you just, I don't need to go to the doctor. It's okay. Just let me sleep.
Yeah.
And finally, it was getting bad enough. It was like, shit. Okay, I'll go to the doctor. Went and got the test, and sure enough, that's what it was. So it's starting to pick back up a bit now.
That's good. It's good to have you around here too, buddy. It's good to have you in our drumming community. We got us a favorite Scott now, especially people are not going to see how much of a potty mouth you are. So they're going to love you, man. I'm going to tell you that much.
Oh, this is nothing. This is me being tame.
This is you being tame. Oh, jeez. I sure hate to see what you were like during a rant and stuff like that, too.
Oh, Jesus. So during a rant, nobody can understand a goddamn thing I say, even less than right now, until it comes to the swear words.
Yeah.
Because they are perfectly enunciated and perfectly clear.
I've always noticed that too with like I'm always trying to remember the shows, but I think I've seen it in either like whether it's those Brit kind of shows or sometimes when they go up north to get the Scottish sort of accents. It's like I can hear whenever they're swearing and that sort of thing too, or they'll say like what you do with me mom or that sort of thing. So I see what you mean too. Actually, I was just picturing you like being like Lou Pinella, just like throwing a hat and everything. I sure hate to see you at the youth baseball game. Oh my god. Oh man.
Oh, Jesus.
Be like the manager and everything too. Oh man. That would be so hilarious. Get that guy film, put him on YouTube, man. He'll be a star.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So was there ever a song that was too tough for you to play and you either gave up or you came back later to finish it?
Yes to all three. So
all the above.
All of the above, more than once. One song in particular is actually it's a Jethro Tull song, and it's called Black Sunday. And Mark Craney is the drummer on it, who was one of my sort of first influences growing up. Because Jethro Tull was one of the first bands I actually started listening to, and that's my dad's fault for that one. So I didn't, at the time when I first started hearing it, I didn't appreciate the drumming because it was just music. The drumming stuff really happened with this, Cozy Powell. He's released a single, Dance with the Devil, and it was my grandma that was into that. Little, tiny, cute old lady into this sort of hair metally 70s drummer who released this single, and that was really the first time I had listened to drums just as an instrument. So I went back and started listening to some of the other Tull stuff I was listening to before, and for 20 years I've been trying to play this song and I just cannot pull it off because it flips between 4/4 and 7/8, and I just cannot get that 7/8 timing. Mainly because I can't count that high. I kind of stop at 4 and then reset. I don't go much past 4. It's like 6/8. I have to count in 3/4.
Yeah, I know what you mean too. It's tough too when it like switches like immediately to like something completely different too.
Yeah, this one. So this one song, there's a passage in it. It's 4/4. There's a cymbal crash, and then boom, 7/8. It's like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, I know what you mean too. And metal tends to do that a lot quicker, and it's a lot faster too. So I know what you mean too. It can be frustrating at times, and it takes a lot of times to get through.
Yeah.
I do have to say, Jethro Tull is. I actually listened to the Minstrel in the Gallery during a couple car rides too, so I listened to that album the whole way through and everything too. And at times there's like long breaks between like the drums and stuff like that. Actually, the first one I thought you said was Black Sun Dancer.
No, Black Sunday.
Black Cindy, okay.
Sunday, as in the day after Saturday.
Okay. Black Sunday, okay.
Sorry, I'll swear next time, and then I'm still enunciating by the time I hit Sunday.
Yeah. You'll start doing that after confession too. That sort of thing. I see what you mean. So, but yeah, Jethro Tull, more progressive style too. And I know just listening to Minstrel in the Gallery, it's like, I don't even know if I could do this, but I enjoy listening to it. So I see what you mean. So,
and they were kind of funny because obviously they started off as a blues band back in the 60s. They were a blues band before they turned into this sort of folky prog rock band. And it wasn't really something I listened to a lot of because I was more into things like Iron Maiden. You know, what was then, I guess, the heavier rock stuff. These days I listen to things like Arch Enemy, Dark Tranquillity, a lot of this speed and thrash metal stuff. Not because I particularly enjoy the music, but I enjoy the drumming.
Yeah, drumming gets a lot more complicated in those kind of bands too.
Oh yeah.
But I guess it's funny you mention influences.
Shit, but I can listen to it.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny you mention influences, I guess. Who else would you consider has been a big influence in your life?
Oh, God, you could have asked me an easy one, couldn't you? Early Maiden, so you get Clive Burr, then Neko, obviously. Never Lars. I was never into Lars. I am one of those guys. He's good at what he does. I never really got into what he did. Shit.
Do you like Dave Lombardo?
Slayer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Slayer.
It's funny because I'm struggling to come up with the goddamn names.
Yeah, there's a lot of names, and I know what you mean too. But
yeah, there's a lot of people out there.
And some bands have even gone through like maybe a couple of drummers, particularly ones. I know, like, just say Dream Theater for one thing, because I know they had Mike Portnoy for a good number of years, and then they got Mike Mangini afterwards. So
let's go back to Portnoy. Mike Mangini is a great player. This could be controversial if there's any Dream Theater fans on here, but I think Portnoy had a better set of dynamics to his playing.
It's funny.
Dynamically, he seems a lot more adept than Mangini, who just smacks the shit out of stuff.
It still flows too. And I know I was listening to one of the songs last night, the Alien, and that one was actually pretty good. But man, he was, I don't know, I won't say all over the place, but like it was still kind of like flowing and everything too. I guess it's just how the music flows. So.
Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic player. Both of them are just my interpretation of that, Portnoy was the better dynamicist. There you go. This is my big word for the day.
I see, yeah. And Charlie Benante, that's right. Charlie Benante for Anthrax.
Anthrax. Okay, here's one for you. Favorite Anthrax song?
Ooh, I think the one I've played, I know Got the Time, but that was actually a cover song, actually.
Yeah.
That one's actually pretty fun. And I know AIR. I think AIR, to be honest.
Okay.
And that one I was pretty happy to cover, too, so.
Got the Time was mine.
Really?
It's that bass line intro.
There's that, too. And then drums can be fun, too, especially when it does, like, the bass solo.
Yeah.
It's, like, in the middle of the song there, before it jumps into, like, chorus number 3. So, I always get that wrong. No, Scott Ian's the guitar player. That's right.
Yeah.
I forget who the bass player is. And I think his name's also...
Nobody knows who bass players are. They're just...
This is probably what we should know, and then they're probably going to be controversial about it, too. You don't know the bass player of Anthrax? Come on, man. That sort of thing.
You know there's somebody shouting at the screen right now.
Probably.
You idiots, it's so-and-so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried. There's only so many names I can remember. Come on. Give me a break here,
exactly.
man. So, all right. So, which drum cover did you love the most?
Cradle of Filth, Hallowed Be Thy Name.
It was an Iron Maiden cover, too. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So why Cradle of Filth? Why not just the simple Iron Maiden song?
I like both of them, but I like the feel of the Cradle version more.
It's like a dark melodic kind of singing.
Yeah, it's more. It's that kind of. They work at that sort of symphonic metal-y way. And I like that style of metal as well. So Nightwish, all of those sort of bands, I like that sort of stuff as well. And that one just, it fit in with me, and I enjoyed covering that one on my little electronic drum kit.
I think it was like after that kind of first verse, it's like running low. In the Cradle Filth version, it goes, and they just shout, "Motherfucker!" That sort of thing. So
Yep. Yeah, right in the
jumps
middle.
right into it too. Nobody can sing like how Bruce Dickinson does. I will say that much.
Hell
Nobody.
And I'm a lifelong Maiden fan, so...
Actually, I love Flight of Icarus. I would say that one. That's one of them too, but I know, shit, I'm just trying to think. Not Number of the Beast. Damn it. That's probably the one that's probably keep coming back to it, but I think Gangland, and I think this one wasn't from like the Number of the Beast, but I know Fear of the Dark from that own album. That one was also a favorite of mine too.
So Transylvania, Phantom of the Opera, Killers, Iron Maiden, all of the sort of original stuff is what I find myself listening to more. Anything after... Funnily enough, the first time I ever heard Maiden really on my own was the Live After Death album. So that's the one. It was a cassette tape. As we go back to referencing how old I goddamn am, not quite as bad as an 8-track, but it was a cassette tape.
Yeah.
And that was the one that was done. I think it was all live in California, in the Rose Bowl. I want to say.
Pasadena.
Some kind of bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the Rose Bowl.
Fruit bowl, candy bowl, I don't know. Some kind of bowl out in California.
That'd be the Rose Bowl. That's Pasadena, yeah. Actually, my dad was in that stadium too when the Steelers had played I think it was the Rams.
Oh,
79, I think. So
that's American handball we're talking about now, right?
Yes, not the other football where we kick with our feet, that sort of thing. Our football is where we actually catch the ball with our hands.
Yeah, your football involves your hands, with an occasional kick here and there.
Yep. And sometimes a kick right in the midsection too. So if you're jumping to block the guy kicking the ball too.
Yeah, you can use your hands then.
That sort of thing. All right. So what's currently your favorite song, or one that you're listening to a lot right now?
The thing that's constantly on my radio right now is Austin Airport Air Traffic Control.
Who sings that song? Is that a...
It's not a song, it's an actual channel.
Sorry, that was a joke.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was thinking Jefferson Airplane at first. That's the thing.
It was a joke, but it's actually serious. I, I'm one of these geeky things that you can listen to the ATC conversations at the airport, and I do that more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm listening to music, it's Ghost for the most part. I have that in a Spotify playlist, so I listen to most of the stuff from the new album.
Cerise, or I forget how you pronounce the song. Is it
Uh,
Cirice?
yeah, Cerise,
Cerise, and then there's
Mary on a Cross, Kaiserian, Spillways, blah, 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 blah. I could just keep going.
yeah. Actually, Ritual was a good one, and that was actually
Mm-hmm.
part of my Halloween playlist. I wanted to try out, but something happened with my live stream, so
Oh,
that's
okay.
gotta work on that. So it would be nice to actually play that one. But that one was actually an enjoyable song. So I
Yeah.
will say Ritual was a good one too.
So yeah, that's on my Spotify, and then I think I have 90s power metal.
Dragon Force, those kind of groups, and
Yeah, exactly.
Yngwie
Anything
Malmsteen.
that's yeah.
Well, actually, I think Yngwie is more of a progressive, so I'm not sure.
Some of his stuff gets in there. You know, it's like everything else. They throw in some random things just to see if you like listening to them, so they can adjust what they supply on the channel.
I see.
They're looking for the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
Whichever one
Yeah, it's
people like the
what's
most.
that crap? Thumbs down.
Yeah,
Get me back to Dragon Force.
absolutely too. Have you ever tried playing Through the Fire and Flames, just as goofing around, maybe?
I can play some of those bits. The parts of those songs that I really excel at are the silences in between the songs.
Of course. Yeah, it's when we let the keyboard and the guitar play.
I think I can manage a couple of the cymbal crashes on time, but that's about
Yeah, we'll just do it where we hear it the most. So we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
it.
A man of many jokes. So,
I try.
well, actually, this question here, I know it gets a little bit serious, but in terms of COVID, I guess how bad did it impact you and your family?
As for me and the family, not at all. We got really lucky as far as that was concerned. Close friends, we had a couple, but I had a couple, mainly my former workplace back up in Utah. They came down with it. A couple of them lost their fight with it. But for the most part, everybody, they had a hard time with it, but they recovered at the end. But I've been lucky enough, it hasn't really affected me at all.
That's good. I
Mainly
guess.
because I'm antisocial and I stay in the house.
I see. Well, I wasn't sure what actually your main profession is, so I wasn't sure, like, were you just working from home and stuff like that?
No, I'm a vehicle maintenance director for the transit agency.
Mm.
So I was managing at that time 450 transit buses, a couple hundred employees. I still do that, but not at the same capacity I did before.
Mm. That must have been tough too, especially in terms of like social distancing, or I guess was Texas not that really strict on any protocols?
They were for a while. I think we seem to have dropped a lot of the protocols before most other places. And it got really confusing for a while because, obviously the state government dropped a lot of those restrictions as a mandate. But then, of course, you get into all of the fights with the individual businesses where they still want you to wear a mask. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And of course, you get the other side of that. It's like, yeah, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. Screw you guys, blah, blah. The 15 minutes of fame on the camera type shit.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's each to their own. If I want to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. If I don't, I won't. But if you go into a business and the business is telling you wear a mask, then just wear a goddamn mask. It's the same as walking in as like no shirt, no shoes. It's the same deal.
In a certain manner of speaking, yeah, I can see what you mean.
You know what I'm saying though. It's not. It's a private business. It's not something you get to fight about. If that's what they want to do, if that's the way they want to run it, go somewhere else.
Well, it's almost like, why would you want to have drama in your life too? You already have plenty of that, and life's already short enough as it is. So you're pretty much worsening your health condition by having a stress attack, and just verbal stress attack, I should say. But
you're setting yourself up for a heart attack rather than a cold. Well, where the hell's the sense in that?
I don't know. And people, it's almost like you need a certain level of compassion behind it too.
Yeah.
Because, some people happen to be immunocompromised. They're trying to come out and live their life too, they end up getting sick too. And that's actually the end of it too. And that's kind of tragic. So
Yeah.
that's something people just lack. So that's something I hope they picked up. And I'm actually really happy it all worked out for you too. So it's good to have you around here, guys.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Did you have any questions for me or anything else before we jump to the last question?
No, I think we're good.
All right. So the last question here is, and I always like to ask it too because I always like to get people's 2 cents on it too, even though the answers may seem cliche. But regardless, what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians out there?
Oh, Jesus. You're asking the wrong person.
Just do what you can. I mean, come on. It can even be the cliche answers that many people are used to, like follow your dreams, that sort of thing. But
no,
just do it best you can.
I'll avoid the cliche stuff. Do what you enjoy doing. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, then that's all that really matters. If something happens with it, that's okay. If something doesn't happen with it, guess what? That's okay too. The fact is, you're doing something you enjoy doing, and hopefully you're getting the enjoyment out of it. If you're doing something like drum covers, just as an example, if that starts feeling like a job, take a break, because you are going to. And I struggled with this last year. You're going to resent it, having to feel like you have to do this thing every week. Just take a month off, reset, and come back at it. The big trick is always enjoy yourself. Now, for anybody that's watched any of my videos, I look miserable as shit when I'm playing. And that's not because I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, it's just because I was born with resting bitch face. So even though I'm sitting looking grumpy, I'm actually enjoying it. Because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be doing it.
I was going to say, spoken like a true prodigy. I wasn't sure if you were almost finished there, so that's why I was kind of pausing to let you finish.
I am now. You're good.
No, you know what? Normally the people always say like, but yeah, it's something like that sort of thing, or something along those lines. So that's why I always do those brief pauses because I'm not sure if you finish speaking. I just need to collect your thoughts, but that's all good, man. All right. So, guys, we reached the end of my podcast right here. We talked for a little over an hour right now. That might be a new record in your book.
It is for me.
That's for sure. I guess, do you have any final words or any shouts you want to do before we close?
No, live long and prosper.
And rock on, that sort of thing. Or as Ash Wallace would say, you are epic, that sort of thing. So, guys, we reached the end of my podcast right here. Met a nice, humbling human being, a little bit of a potty mouth and everything, so we're going to have to make sure we don't let the kiddies watch this afterwards, so we'll have to see what happens. So,
or just watch the other version where he goes through and hits beep all the time.
That actually might be a nice little short right there and everything.
If you're listening to a podcast that's 2 seconds long.
Something like that. Something like that. All right. Guys, I had a great time with this interview too. So
yeah, me too, man.
Everyone go subscribe to Graham's channel. I guess how else can I reach you?
Just start there. Or you find me on Instagram or Facebook. I have those too.
YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. All right, we'll keep it short and sweet. All right. So, guys, stay safe. Stay tuned, y'all.
You too. Thanks, buddy.